President, we have a national emergency.
This is one of the things that we can shoot first and ask questions later. Normally you can't do that.
All of a sudden these trees started moving out of the way. They parted for me. And then I came out into this opening, and there where I saw Jesus Christ.
Back in 1927, an American socialist, Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people will adopt every fragment of the socialist program. He is more imminent.
James Madison, in 1788, speaking to the Virginia Convention, said, "Since the general civilization of mankind, I believe there are more instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachment of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpations."
When men were free.
Broadcasting live from a secret location buried deep below the earth, you're about to make a connection to the signs of the times. W. Dean Shook is live on the air right now.
And welcome into End Time News. I am your host, W. Dean Shook. I am happy and thrilled to be here. How's everybody doing? Well, it's just about Christmas time, and I have a Christmas surprise. Well, I shouldn't say I have the surprise. Obamacare seems to have the Christmas surprise. According to the Washington Times, if you like your health care plan, the Centers for Medical and Medicaid Services, CMS, has a Christmas surprise for you. When will this present arrive? December 25th. In an ongoing effort to keep Obamacare numbers elevated, the CMS has embarked on the next step of government takeover of healthcare. It seems the CMS is taking a page from Jonathan Gruber's book. Rather than allowing the stupid masses to make a decision on their own health plan, the CMS has proposed a new rule that includes an overly outreaching provision allowing the CMS to re-enroll anyone who's not made the annual trek back to the healthcare.gov in a cheaper plan for CMS's choosing. What? That's right. The government will choose your plan, perhaps limit your access to doctors, and ultimately make the decision on what is best for you. But not to worry. Just like Lady Justice, who wears a blindfold when determining guilt or innocence, CMS will use a blindfold to pick your plan. The agency will select your plan without knowing your medical history. They'll do so without knowing if you're currently undergoing treatment or working with a specific doctor. They'll do so without knowing your financial status, and despite the fact that millions of people already enrolled chose the plan that they believe would be best for them, CMS has laid the perfect trap. Sign up at healthcare.gov one time in your life and we'll never let you go. If you don't continually re-enroll each and every year, CMS will keep you on the plan that it chooses because, after all, CMS knows what's best, and they always make the best decisions. Oh, and if you don't like that, please go to the $600 million website that will give you all kinds of testimonials handcrafted by MIT professors. Now, to be clear, a citizen will sign up once for a private plan with a healthcare provider, only to have that plan changed by the federal government. Moreover, CMS will change your plan after the open enrollment period ends, leaving you and your family stuck with a potentially unwanted plan for that year. The only people that will be happier than the MIT economic professors and government know-it-alls will be the lawyers who will have to change to legit this bureaucracy fiasco. The basic constitutional question argued at the passing of the Affordable Care Act was, can the government force American citizens to buy a product? Now the question has become, can the government change your individual private health care provider without consent just because the individual is silent and doesn't want to opt into a new policy? Well, this sound of silence is deafening and frightening. And speaking of silence, CMS quietly opened a comment period on the new rule that expands through next week, ending on Christmas Day. With all due respect to the Jonathan Grubers of the world, the American people are smarter than this. I think they can pick their own plan. Merry Christmas! And let's move into some news from the Middle East. A report says that there's a new law in Saudi Arabia, the death penalty for smuggling Bibles. Unconfirmed reports of a new decree imposing the death penalty on anyone caught smuggling Bibles into Saudi Arabia has many Christian ministries and support groups on edge, because practicing any religion other than Islam has long been illegal in this desert kingdom. That includes rules against foreigners bringing in any type of religious material that does not conform to the royal family's strict Wahhabite brand of Sunni Islam. Foreign nationals living in Saudi Arabia are often detained for purely religious reasons, sometimes resulting in deportation. But applying capital punishment, which in Saudi Arabia often means death by beheading, the Bible smugglers would signal a new level of persecution even for the Saudis. Several Christian missionaries said they were seeking to confirm a recent report by the Virginia-based Heart Cry Missionary Society that a new death penalty law has been adopted, citing official statement in Arabic on a Coptic Christian website called Copts Today. The law reportedly extended to the importing of all illegal drugs and all publications that have a prejudice to any other religious beliefs other than Islam. Well, there's been no response from the Saudi embassy. WND made 3 requests via phone and email to Saudi Arabia's U.S. embassy and their press officer in Washington, asking for confirmation or denial of this report. A woman at the Saudi embassy, who identified herself only by her first name as Cecilia, said she made sure all 3 emails were received by press officers and had not been responded to. Raids on underground churches are a continuous threat in Saudi Arabia. Only some of the raids get leaked into the Western press. As recently as September, Saudi officials detained 30 Christians for worshiping in an underground house church, reported Boz News Life. The same news agency reported that 53 Ethiopian Christians, mostly women, were detained in 2013 after attending a worship service in a private home. And in August of 2012, the Saudi kingdom deported 35 Ethiopian Christians after they had been jailed for nearly 9 months for holding a private prayer vigil. Well, WND reported last year that Saudi Arabia Airlines refused to sell tickets to Jewish passengers because Jews are not allowed in the country. I'll be right back.
There is a sense in the world. There's a sense among believers. There's a sense among unbelievers. There's a sense among all peoples that things are unhinged. The Middle East is unhinged with uprisings, revolutions, and where's this heading?
How are followers of Jesus to relate to all of these things? How do they relate to biblical prophecy?
America is in spiritual, moral crisis. Values are changing, and so rapidly, that have not happened in the history of man.
How are level-headed, responsible Christians to relate to the testimony of the biblical prophets and the unfolding of chaos throughout the world?
Not just believers are wondering, is this a sign of the end?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. These are the stakes. We either stand up to supporters of terrorism, or we and our allies risk losing the freedom we cherish. We must not let the jihadist government of Iran get a nuclear bomb. President Obama has had opportunity to stop them, but he's failing. Join with us and let's secure America now.
Hi folks, have you noticed the federal government and police departments are using drones for everything? Drones are expensive. They're hard to fly. It can take up to a week just to learn to make a drone hover. Not anymore. There's a new generation of drones that are not only affordable but very easy to fly. Now you can have your own personal drone, anything from a micro mini that'll fit in the palm of your hand, right up to a full-scale model, 10 inches in diameter like the model I have, the V949 Pro. Comes with a 6-axis 4-rotor blade and an HD 2.4 camera mounted on the bottom. These drones are made of a space-age polymer. They're durable. And don't worry about crashing your drone. Replacement blades for this drone from the website are only $1.80 for a pack of 4. That's right, I said $1.80 for a pack of 4 replacement blades. You can also get an extra long life battery. This battery allows you up to a half hour of flight time with a maximum speed of 40 miles an hour. Have your own personal drone, and you can get all of this for under $70. If you go to the website, wdeanshook.com, and click on the banner on the webpage, you can get from 7 to 22% off your personal drone. It's shipped as a kit. You can be up and flying your own personal drone with an HD camera within a half hour. Come to the webpage, wdeanshook.com. Click on that banner and get your discount today. wdeanshook.com.
You know, seems these days that not a single one of us steps on a train, boards an airplane, attends a concert or a sporting event and doesn't have at least a fleeting concern that terror could strike. The reality of the post-9/11 world is that we're at war and we are a target. We all live with some level of uncertainty and fear. It's easy to lose sight of an issue that defines our generation, the need to stop terrorism in our time. Our president apologizes for America, and he's made it clear that the era of American exceptionalism is over. He campaigned on closing Guantanamo and trying terrorists in civilian court. On his second day in office, he stopped enhanced interrogation and he closed down the black sites. You know, where we got the intel that ultimately led us to bin Laden. He has all but abandoned Israel despite the fact that Iran is the world's leading sponsor of terror that openly calls for the annihilation of Israel. All while Iran develops a nuclear bomb that they recently announced could be delivered to U.S. targets via missiles developed during Obama's presidency. While he does nothing but talk. The question for every American is simply, are we safer? AreWeSafer.com provides you with the facts and the potential consequences of these failed policies so that you can make informed decisions. I mean, let's face it. If things don't change, everything will change. And we all hope that day never comes.
And thank you for that break. And apparently the police departments around this country are not getting the message that we don't like the militarization of our police departments. Now recently, those 2 cops shot execution style in New York is a horrific thing. But they have to see that this divide between the people and our law enforcement is getting wider. I want to share this story with you from WND about a trigger-happy cop who zaps a 76-year-old with a taser. Listen to this story. A Texas police officer is now under investigation for zapping a 76-year-old man twice with the taser during a traffic stop. The incident took place Thursday in Victoria, Texas, as Officer Nathaniel Robinson, 23, pulled over a local resident, Pete Valquez, for expired inspection sticker on the car that Valquez was driving back to Adams Auto Mart. This is where Valquez helps with mechanical work. A police dashboard camera shows that Valquez exited his vehicle, which is owned by the car lot. He explained